Well, hello friends, how are you? It's Joni here at Joni's Journals. How is everyone doing today? As you can see, or maybe you can't see because the angle is a little bit different, I have a bunch of Christmas trees on my table, and that's because I've been playing with the Tim Holtz ideology Christmas trees over this past week. And what I have been doing is also, I have been decorating these little spools to use as stands for the Christmas trees. This one I wrapped some, I can never remember what it's called, twine around, and I painted it brown to start with. This one I painted in Vintage Photo. This is the Distress Paint by Tim Holtz. And I did a little dry brushing in Mowed Lawn Paint. This one I painted in Lumberjack Plaid, and you can see the finish is not quite solid, but it doesn't really matter because I've also been covering it with some of the Tim Holtz worn wallpaper. Okay, so here's one I did. This one I sprayed in, oh gosh, I forgot what it's called, the lavender distress spray stain. And then I've added some little baubles to it. Okay, baubles, not bubbles. And that would be these, the Tim Holtz Ideology baubles. Okay. This one I sprayed in Lumberjack Plaid. This one was done in Salvage Patina. This one was also done in the lilac. Now you can see because it's a smaller tree, there was less area, so the colors kind of varied between the two of them. So what I thought we would do today is we would take one of the smaller trees from the Tim Holtz Woodland. Now this is the second size down. This is the largest, this is the medium. And these would be the small ones, okay? So what I thought is we could spray the medium-sized one, and I can show you how to do that with the distressed spray stain, because this one I plan on putting into one of the Ideology small domes to make as a display for Christmas along with all of my other trees. Okay, now in the event you don't have any of the Tim Holtz trees, this is one that I picked up at Target last year. It's a little beat up. And I sprayed it with Distress Oxide. I believe this was the spruce. Okay, so the trees are, well, I can't guarantee that Target will have them again this year, but this was on their little $1 or $5, $3 area. This one in particular was $3. It still has the tag on it, and it is a bottle brush tree, and it's made from the same kind of material, so it did absorb the ink. You know, they're kind of soft and fluffy. I don't know why this is so beat up like this. I think it's because I sprayed it and put it away. Okay. So we are going to start with a natural tree. We're going to spray it. And then we are going to decorate the large size tree. And we're also going to decorate our spool. Okay, so I'm going to go and I'm going to get everything ready so that we can do that. But what I also wanted to show you is I did make a little wreath, which seems to have acquired some dust on it. Okay, and that is using also the Tim Holtz, and I can't remember what they're called, but these came out last year, and I think they were the Garland or something, made of the same material. They also come in the same natural color, so you could spray it or not. I would have done this one with you, but I added one of the little drippy candles to the center, and using the hot glue gun and holding this, I think would have been too much for you guys to have to sit through. Now I also added one of the mini flares, the Christmas mini flares on the front, because the glue came out kind of gloppy, I guess is a good way to say it. And so I wanted to kind of hide the glue behind there. You could also use a bow if you wanted to try this on your own. And again, these are some of the baubles which I have ink dyed. Using not ink dyed. Well, I guess it is ink dyed. I used my alcohol inks and colored them. So I have some of those left over for us to play with. I'll also show you, you can remove the wooden bases from the trees. And just as give you an idea, this is one of the smallest ones of the Drippy Candles. Okay, so let me get started and I will come back just to show you if you want to do some of the alcohol inking on your own. I know that Tim buys special cups. I use the cups from my laundry soap and they work fairly well. So, you know, all different sizes. So yeah. All right, I will go and I will get everything set and we will spray our little tree. Okay, I will be right back. All right, and I am back. Now, when I do the spray staining, I know you're a little bit close, but let's see if I can kind of raise you up a little. All right, it's not gonna matter. You're gonna need to see what I'm doing in the bucket anyway. When I do my spray staining, I use an old storage container that I have, and whether I'm spraying paper or I'm spraying an object, I just spray into the box. So the spray stain that I'm using is the Distress Spray Stain by It's Peeled Paint. It's the Tim Holtz brand by Ranger. And what we're gonna do, I just like to shake mine up a little, make sure there's no sludge sitting on the bottom. And we are simply just going to spray our tree. It's as simple as that. And I just go around and I make sure that I'm hitting all of the areas of the tree. And if I see a spot that I think is not covering well, I'll just go around and spray it again. Okay, so that part of our little project is done. We have our tree and it is sprayed. And now what I'm going to do is I am gonna grab a couple of, whoops, I just got it on my hands. Just gonna grab maybe 4 pieces of paper towel. I'm gonna fold them up, fold it in half, wipe my fingers off, and I'm gonna grab my little tree and I'm just gonna stand it on the paper towel on the side of my desk, like so. And that is it. That is how simple it is. Okay, I'm gonna clean this up and then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna do a little decorating. Okay, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, and we are back. You can see our little tree is drying over here. They dry relatively quickly. When I did mine, I let them sit all day. I would say 4 or 5 hours before I came back and started decorating them. But before we're gonna play with our tree, we're not gonna do this one in particular. We are gonna do the larger one. We are going to decorate our little spool. Now I do have one that I painted in the Lumberjack Plaid. Distress paint, and this one, as I said, was painted in the Walnut Stain Distress paint, and this was the one that I painted in Vintage Photo and dry brushed with Mold Lawn. And I have added little cut up pieces of the Vintage Wallpaper scraps, also by Tim Holtz. Now, I do not know if this is still available. I did search it up on Amazon. If it's still there, I will add a link in the description box below the video. But I have, these spools are 2-inch. The interior part here where I have wrapped is just short of 1.5 inches. So what I did was I took my little wallpaper scrap and I cut it to be, it's just about 1 3/8 inches tall. And after I measured it out, it's about between 4 1/8 and 4 1/4 of an inch. So, and then I inked all around them. And what I am going to use is the Simon Says Stamp craft glue, which I was kind of hesitant about. I didn't know if it was gonna work out well for me, but it actually is. It's similar in, I guess, adhesion to the Aleene's craft glue. But yeah, Simon has their own line of this out now, and I just grabbed a couple of bottles and I said, well, let me see what it's like. So what I do basically is I do this kind of slowly, just because I want my piece of paper to stay straight on the spool. I'll put down 2 lines of glue to start with. And then I'll take my piece of paper and I will just lay it flat and make sure that it's staying straight and centered. This glue grabs pretty quickly. I want to make sure it is staying straight and centered on the interior part of the spool, and then I will just push down and try to wait for it to grab, okay, and then maybe wipe off a little of this excess here, okay, and we'll just make sure that it's there, it's down, okay, and it doesn't matter if you get glue on the spool, it's going to get covered up. Now, I tend to work backwards because I want to make sure that it's staying straight, and even if you get a little glue on the spool, no biggie. And I will make a line of glue as I go along, maybe 2 lines of glue, and maybe I'll add a little more here. And then I will slowly start wrapping my paper around, again, making sure that it's staying straight. Okay, if you miss by a little, it's okay. You can kind of hide that. For instance, on this one, I didn't quite get it in the center, so there's a little line here. So I use that as for the top because the shadow is going to hide it, going to hide your mistake, okay? And then I just continue going around in the same fashion. Put a line of glue, and I'll roll this up like so. And keep pushing it, turning it, and making sure that it's straight. Okay. And then bring it around. Put another line of glue. Now, when I cut these to length, I kind of make sure that what I'm doing is I'm making sure that the paper is wrapping completely around, and it is. I don't want any bubbles. When I cut it to length, I try to make sure that there's a little bit more pattern on this side, the piece that ends up being on the outside, and I'll push down again and go in there and add another line of glue, okay, all the while pushing it and making sure that it's staying straight. And again, we have a little bit of glue bubbling out here, but that's okay. And then I'll put another line of glue. And then when I finally get to the end, I put my last line of glue directly onto the paper. And then I will bring it and I will wrap it. And I think it's pretty straight. I'm hoping, whoops. Okay. And then I'll wrap it. Wipe off that excess. Okay. I mean, if you're really like anal about it, you could try to match your pattern. If you were actually hanging wallpaper. I'm not that anal about it. And so there you go. You have your spool is covered. A very simple step, but just want to show you how it can be done. And my paper ended up being just the slightest bit crooked. We will make sure that that seam stays at the back. Okay, so now we have our spool ready to be decorated. Okay, and we're going to leave that and we're going to let it dry. And once the glue is dry, I'll just go in and scrape off the little messy parts with my finger. Okay, so we have this one ready, and this is the one we are going to use. But first, we need to decorate our tree. I'm just going to put my, and everything is falling over. Now, what I use for this is the Distress Collage Medium. And I have learned through trials and tribulations of having done 1, 2, 3, 4 trees and the wreath, less is better, okay? Because you kind of want the little decorations to stick to the tree, and you don't want to have to keep holding them. The more glue you put, the more they kind of roll around, and I'm sure we will actually have 1 or 2 mistakes like that. Now, this is a tree that I have prepared, and I have already unscrewed the bottom off of this, and I will show you on this one, because this one is one that is decorated and dry, and I will be showing you how to adhere the tree to the spool once we finish decorating this one, okay? All you have to do is just unscrew this like so, and you keep twisting and you keep twisting and you keep twisting and maybe pull it a little. It twists right off. It will give out from the glue that it's used to glue it into the base. And of course this one's, there you go. And your base is off. Save these. You can use them. You can see here that I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. Now these are like prime real estate because now you have wood planks, okay? So hang on to these. Don't get rid of them. Make sure you keep them because you can use them for other things, okay? So now I have my little drippy candle in here. My little bowl of the baubles that I have gone ahead and ink dyed with my alcohol ink. Now what you do is you take your tree, let's put this one over here, and I like to start with the smaller. I go in and I pulled out one size. This is the next size up, and this is the smallest size down. I am not going to use this size on the tree. I just feel like they're a little too tiny, and they'll probably get lost on the tree. You wouldn't even see them, okay? So what we're going to do is I like to start at the top with the smaller of these two. So I'm going to grab a blue one, and I work in a row. I do 3 and 2, 3 and 2, just to kind of make it balanced, I guess, in a sense. And so what I'm going to do, just get my collage medium here, and I'm going to spray a little glob, I'm going to squeeze a little glob right onto the tree, like so. Less is better. And I'm going to grab a blue one, and I'm just, see? I am just simply going to push it into the tree, and I'm going to hold it for a minute or two. A couple of seconds, I guess, would even be just as good. And kind of hold it down like so, and it's sticking to my fingers. Okay. And then we're just going to squeeze it in a little bit more. And then we're going to leave it because what's happening is my finger is getting gluey, and there we go. And the little bauble is sticking to my finger. And then I'll probably go just about center of the tree, like so. Now you can see the glue is kind of sticking into the branches there. And I'm going to grab that next size, and I'm going to push it into the branches. It's a lot easier once you get into the bushier part of the tree, and the bauble will kind of catch itself in amongst the branches and stay put. And then a little bit up from the bottom of the tree, I'm going to squeeze a little bit more glue, and you can see again how it's sinking. And I'm trying to alternate my colors here. So now I have a purple, and I'm just going to tuck it right into the branches. So you can see there, that's how you put your baubles on your tree. Now I'm going to put this aside, and I'm going to let it dry, and I'm going to get set up to show you how we add our tree to our base. Okay, I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, see you then. Okay, and I'm back, and you can see I'm still holding my tree because I waited just a few minutes. You can see the glue is still probably a little bit wet there, but if I turn the tree, they're gonna stay stuck. Okay, I just wanted to show you adding 2 more. Now I have a blue, a gold, and a purple. So I am going to grab a red one, and I'm gonna stick that one right here, okay? I didn't wanna cheat you out of seeing how I go ahead and decorate the tree. So we're gonna stick the red one in there, and because, like I said, the branches are a little bit softer and a little bit more open, the bauble is kind of staying in place on its own. Now, you may see glue on the outside, but the collage medium does dry clear, and so you don't really have to worry about that, because you can't even tell on here that I used the collage medium because it does dry clear. Okay, so you can see that little red one is kind of centered between the top blue one and the center gold one. And now what I'll do is I'll grab another one, and I'm gonna put that one right about here, okay? So it's in between our gold and our purple, right? And I'm just gonna put one right in there, and the glue again is feeding itself in amongst the branches, and you can kind of tuck your little bauble in, okay? And it should be grabbing onto that glue, I'm hoping. Maybe tuck it in a little bit more. So now you can see what I'll do now is I will alternate. Now I will go to the other side. These are a little too wet for me to turn the tree, but this setup here is what I will do. Once this dries, I will go on to the next side of the tree and add 3 more baubles, just like I did on here. And if while I'm talking, these actually are staying glued in, I'm a little worried about that blue one. I don't know if there's quite enough. Oh, well, it's not moving. Okay, they're not moving. Okay, let's just turn the tree. If it falls out, we'll fix it. Now, we started with a blue one up here, so let's see. I have a medium-sized gold one. So I'm gonna grab a gold one, and I'm gonna stick that one up there, okay? And you can see that's the smaller size. And it doesn't have to be in the same place as the one you started with, although you could try and see if you're getting it in the exact same place. And I'm gonna grab one, this one, and I'm just gonna tuck it in up here. Now, again, the branches are not quite as sparse at the top of the tree. So this little one is probably gonna give me just about the same amount of trouble as the other one did. Although I think we got it. Okay, and then we will just put it one in between the red and the blue. Okay, maybe I'll grab, let's see what color I have here. Well, we're gonna have to go with a blue one because I'm out of purple. And we're just gonna stick the blue one in there, okay? And I'm a little bit anal and I try to line them up. And there we go. And that one's pretty much tucked in there. Now let's see, what color do I have? Now I'm just gonna have to grab one. I'm gonna grab the smaller sized one because I don't have any of the big ones left. And I'll put a small one down here. It's my tree. I can do it if I want to. You can decorate your tree. I thought I had enough prepared, but I guess I didn't. So I'm gonna grab this little purple one here, and I'm gonna tuck the purple one in. Whoop. Okay. And I will go on the other side when these 2 sides are dry and add the other 2 baubles. Okay. But I just wanted to give you an idea that that's how it looks. The purple one might fall out. Okay. All the way around the tree. Now you do have room here just to add 2 more. And are these actually staying? Okay, what I think I will do is I'm gonna add a smaller red one here. Okay, like so. I'm actually getting to do the whole tree with you. I'll add this red one in. Okay, or should we do, nope, we'll do red. Okay, and we'll tuck the red one in. Like I said, we're down to only having small ones left. So that's what we're gonna have to use. Okay, We'll tuck that little one in there. And again, it's sticking to my finger. But you can see how it goes right in. Like so. And then I think we can actually take one big of the gold, and I'm going to tuck the gold one in right about here. Okay, squeeze in some of that glue and grab a gold one, and I'll tuck that one in there. And there we go, our tree is decorated. Okay, I'm being kind of brave turning it like this, but the glue does grab very quickly. Okay, so we have our tree all decorated. Now I'm going to have to go and grab my hot glue gun and heat it all up, and I will be back and we will add our tree to our little spool Christmas tree stand, and we will be done. Okay, I'll see you in a bit. Thank you. All right, friends, we are back. And we are now going to put our tree into its little tree stand. So I have my hot glue gun here, which is not extremely hot, I do have to say. So we are going to hope for the best. And what we're going to do is we're going to put some glue down into the hole first, okay? Because that's where the stem of our tree will catch up. And then we're just going to put a nice, healthy coat of the hot glue around the top of our little spool, a little down back into the middle there. And then we're just going to grab our tree and we're going to put it right down into the middle and push down really well onto the hot glue so that our tree will eventually stick in. Okay, just going to jiggle it a little, try to get that glue attached to the bottom of the tree there. And now the true test is turning it upside down, and it has stuck. Okay, so there you go. Now you know how to dye the little Christmas trees and add some baubles for ornaments and make a little tree stand from a spool. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you stuck around long enough to finish up our little trees. And in fact, this is the tree that we made together, and it is completely dry now. Okay, you can see I added one more little bauble down here because it looked a little, I don't know, naked, I guess. And I probably will go in and stick some more in if I feel that it really needs it. But that's it. Oh, and our other little tree is all nice and dry now. Okay, we have a little hair of glue on there, but this one's dry as well. And I guess that's it for now. Okay, so I'm going to send you lots of love and big hugs and ask you to please remember to like, subscribe, and comment. And I will do my very best to link everything that we used here, as long as I can find it. And that's it. Okay, guys, I am thinking of selling the spools in my Etsy, so check it out. Follow me on Etsy, and if I do get a chance to get them added for you, you will know right away. Okay, I'll see you soon, guys. Lots of love, big hugs, and thanks for watching. Take care for now.